Good morning, students. So yesterday we studied about the electrostatic potential. Second chapter we started electrostatic potential. It is defined as the amount of work done in bringing a unit charge from infinity to a point in the electric field without any acceleration. That is, formula is potential V is equal to work done per unit charge W upon Q. Okay, potential difference between 2 points, the potential of one point minus the potential of the other point. Okay, or we can define it as it is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from one point to other. Okay, in an electric field opposite, in an electric field without any acceleration. Okay, and it is also the negative line integral of the electric field. That is, it is the integration of E dot dl. For potential, the limits will be from infinity to a point P, and for the potential difference, it will be from point A to point B. That is R1 to R2 distance. Okay, and the SI unit of potential is volt. Okay, 1 volt is defined as 1 joule of work is done in moving a 1 coulomb of charge from one point to another. Then we found out the potential due to a point charge, the expression of potential due to a point charge. Okay, so a charge plus Q, this is the point charge due to which we have to find out the potential at a point P, which is at distance R. We have to find out the potential at point P. So for this, we consider a point A, which is at X distance from this point charge. Now a test charge Q naught is moved in the opposite direction of the electric field. Why? Because this is due to positive charge. This is the direction of the electric field. Now the Q naught charge is moved opposite to the electric field. In moving this Q naught charge, some amount of work is done. This work done per unit test charge, we call it as the potential. Okay, and the expression for the potential which we derived is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. This is the expression of potential due to a point charge. Okay, and the electric field due to a point charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. And electric field is a vector quantity. So whenever you electric field you write down, you have to mention its direction, electric field away from the positive charge towards the negative charge. But potential is a scalar quantity. Okay, so no need to mention any direction. Positive charge, the potential will be positive. Negative charge, the potential will be negative. Okay, now let's plot the graph between E versus R and V versus R. E is the electric field and V is the potential. So write down graph of electric field and potential with R, with the distance. Graph of electric field and potential with R for a point charge. Okay, graph of electric field and the potential versus the distance with R, that is with the distance for a point charge. For a point charge, we know that the electric field at a distance R is given by the magnitude of the electric field is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. And the potential for a point charge Q is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. Okay, this is the electric field for a point charge. From here, we see that the electric field is, how is it depending upon the distance? It is inversely proportional to R square. From here, you see that V is inversely proportional to R for a point charge. Now, let's plot the graph for electric field and the potential in the same graph. Okay, electric field and potential taken along y-axis and R taken along x-axis. Okay, we'll plot it on the same graph. Okay, here potential is inversely proportional to R. So it will start close to the y-axis. Okay, this is for V inversely proportional to R. And the electric field is inversely proportional to R square. So this is the graph for electric field. This is E inversely proportional to R square. And this one is V inversely proportional to R. Okay, so the one which is inversely proportional to R will be closer to the y-axis. The one which is inversely proportional to R square will be closer to the x-axis. Okay, so this is V inversely proportional to R, and this graph is representing E inversely proportional to R square. Okay, plot this graph. So for a point charge, electric field is inversely proportional to R square, and the potential is inversely proportional to R. So both the graphs, okay, are plotted in the same one. So this is the shape. Okay, then we proceed with potential due to a number of point charges. Okay, potential due to a number of point charges. There are a number of point charges in the space, and you have to find out the potential due to all these point charges. Okay, drawn this graph. Okay, for a point charge, E is inversely proportional to R square. For a point charge, V is inversely proportional to R, and both we have plotted in the same graph. Okay, otherwise, if you plot it in separate graph, it is inversely proportional. You plot a curved line. But if both you have to plot in the same graph, then you should know that the one which is inversely proportional to R, that is V inversely proportional to R, will be closer to y-axis. The one which is inversely proportional to R square will be closer to x-axis. Okay, next write down, next heading. Potential due to a number of point charges. Potential due to a number of point charges. Okay, let a number of point charges Q1, Q2, Q3, Qn have a position vector R1, R2, Rn respectively. So let's find out the potential due to all these charges. We know that the potential is a scalar quantity. So how will we add? It will be a simple scalar addition. Okay, simply algebraically you can add it and you will get the expression of potential. So write down, let Q1, Q2, Q3, Qn are at ARE are at R1, R2, Rn respectively. Okay, let Q1, Q2, Q3 and so on Qn charges have a position vector R1, R2, R3, Rn respectively. Write down the total potential or the net potential is given by the potential of the first charge plus the potential of the second charge plus the potential of the nth charge. Oh, okay, simple algebraic addition. Potential of the first plus potential. What is the potential of the first charge? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 upon R1. What is the potential of the second charge? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 upon R2. And so on. For the nth charge, it will be Qn upon Rn. Okay, is the total potential which can be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught summation Qi upon Ri, where I is varying from 1 to n. I varies from 1 to n. This way we write down. So the total potential due to a number of point charges will be the algebraic sum of the potentials of individual charges. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught summation of Qi upon Ri. Okay, any ith charge where I is varying from 1 to n. So this is the total potential due to a number of point charges. Okay, note it down. Let Q1, Q2, Q3 and so on Qn charges have position vectors R1, R2 and so on Rn respectively. So the total potential will be the sum of the potentials due to the individual charges. that is V1 plus V2 plus Vn. V1 is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 upon R1. V2 is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 upon R2. So the total potential will be summation of Q upon RQ, I upon R, where some ith charge is there, where I is varying from 1 to n. Okay, next we'll find out the potential due to a spherical shell. Okay, the next heading, write down potential due to a spherical shell. Okay, we have already found out the electric field due to a spherical shell in different regions. Outside the shell, we found out the electric field using Gauss law, Gauss theorem. What is Gauss theorem? Closed surface integral of the electric field is equal to 1 upon epsilon times the total charge enclosed inside that surface. Okay, that is closed E dot ds is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. Okay, so using that Gauss law, we have found out the electric field outside the shell. Outside the shell, we have seen that the electric field is the same like a point charge. So it appears as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere. Okay, now let's draw the figure. Let us consider a spherical shell on which plus Q charge is uniformly distributed. Okay, this is a spherical shell on which positive Q charge is uniformly distributed. Let the radius of the spherical shell is capital R. The radius of the shell is capital R. Okay, now first we'll find out at a point P outside the shell. Okay, so we'll find out the potential at a point P which is outside the shell, that is which is at a distance R from the center of the shell, which is at a distance small r from the center of the shell. That is, first case we are finding outside the shell. Outside the shell means R is greater than capital R. Capital R is the radius of the spherical shell and we are finding out at a point P outside. Okay, now we know that it appears as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere. So this Q charge is at the center. Now due to this point charge, we are finding out the potential at small r distance, which we know that V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. So first write down. Using Gauss law, we found electric field at the point P outside the shell. We found electric field at a point outside the shell. Which comes out to be the same as that for a point charge. Which comes out to be the same as that for a point charge. That is, it appears as if the whole charge is concentrated. The whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere. The whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere. Write down. So the potential due to this point charge. So the potential due to the point charge is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. So this is the expression for the potential outside the shell. Okay. Why? Because it is appearing as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere and due to this point charge, we know that this is the expression for the potential. So the potential due to a point charge is given by this. Okay, and here it is appearing as if the whole charge is concentrated at the center of the sphere. So due to this point charge, this becomes a point charge here at the center, and due to this point charge, this is the potential. Second, we'll find out on the shell. On the shell means small r is equal to capital R, that is at a point. Now the point P is on the shell. Okay, we know that V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q. Substitute small r is equal to capital R. Okay, so this is on the shell. Now let's find out inside the shell. Third case, inside the shell. Inside the shell means R is less than capital R. We are finding out at a point Q. We are finding out at a point Q, which is inside the spherical shell. Okay, and its distance from the center is O. Okay, now let's come back to the electric field, where we derived the electric field due to this spherical shell, outside, on the shell, and inside. What is the expression of the electric field inside the shell? Okay, E dot ds, starting from closed surface, integral of E dot ds is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. So here, passing through the point Q, we had drawn a spherical surface. We had drawn a Gaussian surface, which is a sphere. And inside that Gaussian surface, there is no charge. So what is the electric field inside the shell? Electric field inside the shell is 0. Okay, as electric field inside the shell is 0. So what will be the potential? What is the relation between electric field and potential? Electric field is negative of potential gradient. We know that electric field is minus dV upon dr or dl. Anything you can write down. Electric field is negative of potential gradient. Okay, this we have already derived. Electric field is negative of potential gradient. Okay, electric field inside is 0. The differentiation of a quantity is 0. We know that the differentiation of a constant quantity is 0. So it means what is the potential inside? The potential inside is constant. Whatever is on the surface, the same potential remains inside the shell. Okay, so write down here. Okay, write it in the same manner. Inside the shell, R is less than capital R. Okay, using Gauss law, we found that electric field inside is 0. And we know that electric field is negative of potential gradient. Write down, hence it shows that the potential inside the spherical shell is constant. Hence it shows that the potential inside the spherical shell is constant, which is the same as that on the surface. Which is the same as that on the surface. Which is the same as that on the surface. Okay, so whatever is on the surface, how much is on the surface? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R. Q is what? The charge which is distributed on this spherical shell. And capital R is the radius of the spherical shell. So the potential inside also will be the same as that of, okay, so inside the potential is constant, which is equal to same as that on the surface. On the surface, it is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon capital R. Capital R is the radius of the spherical shell. Okay, so the same is the potential on the inside as well as on the spherical shell. Whereas outside the shell, it will be inversely proportional to, which will be inversely proportional to small r. Okay, written. Next, we'll find out the potential due to an electric dipole. Okay, what is an electric dipole? equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance that forms an electric dipole. Okay, and the strength of the dipole is measured by dipole moment, which is equal to product of either of the charge and the dipole length. Dipole length is the separation distance between the two charges, q into 2a, that is the dipole moment. Okay, so due to this dipole, we'll find out the potential. Potential here is a scalar quantity. Now here we'll find out at any arbitrary point P. Okay, not on the axial line, not on the equatorial line like we had derived, the electric field on the axial line, then on the equatorial line. Here we'll find out at any arbitrary point P. Okay, then we'll consider the case that if it is the axial line, what will be the potential? And when it is the equatorial line, then what will be the potential? So then we'll derive it accordingly. Okay, so this part we are going to do it on the next one, that is in the next class. So let's revise it, what we have done today or what we have done in this chapter. The first topic we have studied is electrostatic potential. Electrostatic potential, it is defined as the work done in bringing a unit charge from infinity to a point in the electric field without any acceleration. So its formula is work done per unit charge, and it is also equal to the negative line integral of the electric field. Potential difference is the difference of the potential between 2 points which are lying in the electric field. So how can we define it? It is the work done in moving a unit charge from one point to another in an electric field without any acceleration. Okay. Again, it is the negative of line integral of the electric field now, but the limits will be from point A to point B. Okay, if we are moving the charge from A to B, that potential difference will be potential of A minus the potential of B. Okay, then we have seen the relation between the electric field and the potential, as potential is negative of line integral of the electric field. So the electric field is negative of potential gradient, that is the change in potential with the distance. So from here we got another unit of electric field. The first unit which we have studied in the previous chapter is force per unit charge. Electric field is force per unit charge, so its unit is Newton per coulomb. Force per unit test charge, so its unit is Newton per coulomb. Now here electric field is negative of potential gradient, so its unit is also equal to volt per meter. So two units of electric field, Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. Okay, then we found out the potential due to a point charge. Due to a point charge, the potential is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Seen the graph between the electric field and the potential for point charge. For a point charge, we have plotted the graph of electric field and the potential with r. Then potential due to a number of point charges. It will be the sum of the potential of all the point charges. Why? Because it is a scalar quantity, simple algebraic addition. Okay, if it is positive charge, potential is positive. If it is negative charge, the potential will be negative. Okay, then the potential due to a spherical shell, outside, inside, and on the surface we have found out outside the shell. Here we see that the whole charge is supposed to be concentrated at the center of the sphere. So the potential at distance r, small r, is equal to kq by r. On the surface will be equal to kq upon capital R. Where inside the shell, the potential will be constant. Why? Because the electric field inside is 0 and E is equal to minus dV by dr. Okay, as electric field is 0, it means the differentiation of a constant quantity is 0. So inside the potential is constant, which is equal to same as that on the surface. Okay, so tomorrow or on the next one, we'll be discussing the potential due to an electric dipole. We'll find out its expression. Okay, and then we'll proceed to the equipotential surface. Okay, also don't forget to write your name in the comment box. After watching the video, you'll write your name so that I can take your attendance. Thank you.